right. Fight of the night, no brainer. Watterson versus Hill, and then I think the other two are no brainers too. But the card was so good tonight. The other guys who won, I'm going to cut them checks too. But Kroom, you couldn't take it from him, and obviously Ottman, you had to give it to him too. Just the level of opponent he fought and how he won, and what a night! What an incredible card tonight.
It was a lot of fun. As you said, clear, fight of the night with the main event. I wanted to ask you what your thoughts were on the main event and the scoring. Obviously, the scores were all over the place. They were close rounds. Do you think the judges got it right?
The fight was incredible. The fight was incredible. My phone was blowing up tonight like it was a pay-per-view. People were going crazy over the main event. And I don't know how you guys had it. I had it 2-2 going into the last round. That was how I had it scored. And obviously, I said at the end of that round, I had it 2-2, and I said, whoever wins this fight, it's you. You couldn't argue, either way. It was just so good. They both fought their ass off from bell to bell, and I can't say enough. This is one of those fights where there is no loser. There is no loser in this fight. It was razor thin. It was so close, and whoever won, I wouldn't have said anything either way.
Yeah. Phenomenal fight. It was a big one in the division. Probably not a title shot for either one of them, but what is going on with the champ, with Zhang Weili? Do we know when she's going to fight again?
We're working on that right now.
Is the fight done with, is it Rose is the fight?
Well, that's the fight we want to make, yeah, so we're working on it.
Okay.
She just had surgery after her last fight. Right. Okay. So, yeah.
Fair enough. Wanted to ask you about Ottman Izatar. Obviously, you gave him the bonus tonight. You said it, man. This is his second quick win in the UFC, undefeated record. What do you think about him, and is it worth trying to get him a fight on Fight Island maybe? What's the thought?
He is.
He's going to fight?
Yeah.
Any matchups done yet? Or
no.
Okay.
Come on, we're not that good. We're good, but not that good.
I did want to ask you, I know you don't like to bang on referees anymore in your advanced age, but I got to ask you.
That's hard not to bang on this guy.
I got to ask you about the Mike Rodriguez fight yet, Herman.
The worst I've ever seen. He's at fucking Mazzagatti level. Some Mazzagatti level shit right there. That was one of the worst things I've ever seen. That kid wins by knockout, technical knockout, and loses the fight. Just one of the worst things I've ever seen.
It seems like that's something that could have been fixed if a replay was looked at.
I was all over him tonight about replay. We have to have replay. It's got to be replay. All you got to do is look at the fucking replay that's playing 6,000 times while Herman's on the ground and say, oh, shit, I made a mistake. You can't see everything. They're human. You can't see everything. That's a tough one. Now, how you think that is a groin kick is next level nuts, but whatever. It happens, and what are you going to do?
Fair enough.
It happened.
Curiosity.
We're giving Mike his win money, too. He won the fucking fight, so.
Very cool. Very cool. Curiosity, why is Fight Island still not official yet? Why do we still not know you said it on Tuesday, but there's still no official announcements that, yes, by the way, Adesanya Costa's in Abu Dhabi. What's going on?
There will be.
By the time we get there,
suspense.
Dustin Poirier kind of broke our heart this week. He said he's not fighting Tony Ferguson.
Yeah.
What can you tell us about that? Will there be another fight for Ferguson, or is this possibly salvageable? What do you think?
No.
Okay,
we're not even trying to salvage it. We're getting another fight.
Another opponent for Ferguson?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Cool. And
that'll happen.
Last quick one. You're going with the president again, the reception this weekend. I'm curious how that came together with Colby and Cejudo and Gaethje and all that.
Yeah, I don't know how those guys ended up going.
Colby put it all together for you?
Yeah, no. I mean, they called me Friday and asked me to go. But I don't know how they ended up going.
Okay.
I don't know how all that came together.
Nice. And just last thing for me, a report came out that DAZN was looking at fights for Canelo with either Khabib or Masvidal. They were targeting those guys to fight Canelo. Which one are you working on? Which matchup are you preferring?
That's fucking hilarious. I don't even know what to say to that. That's hilarious, But are you shocked? I mean, that's the state of boxing. It's where those guys are at, I don't even know what to say to that.
Dana, you said you had a 2-2 after 4 rounds. Who'd you give the last round to?
Well, I just told him. I said it was 2-2, and the last round I said at the end of the fight, I said whoever wins this fight, it's not going to be like holy shit.
So you didn't score the last round.
Yeah, I mean, I watched. It was close. Last round was super close. They fought their asses off, both of them punching, kicking, elbows, attempted takedowns, stuffs, the whole deal. They fought their asses off, man. I said whoever wins the last round. Either way this goes, I'm not going to go, oh, man, that shouldn't have happened.
Do you feel in a way for Angela Hill, she loses that fight to Claudia Gadelha that most people thought she won. She comes back tonight, fights a great fight here, and she loses. And, she's different than a lot of them because she's a little bit older, like she's 35 or whatever. And so losing and putting her down in the division makes it a little tougher to get back up to a title shot there.
She don't look 35 physically or as far as her talent goes. Every time she fights, she gets better.
I wanted to ask you one thing about the Mike Rodriguez ending, and I don't know if you know this or how they decide this. It was pretty clear, and he didn't call the low blow right away, right? I think it was pretty clear he did not see it.
I'm with you, Kevin.
Right.
Listen, not only did that happen, he goes, time. And Mike Rodriguez goes, time? What do you mean time? Fight's over.
Well, I guess
it was a total. I was sitting there going, what the fuck? Then they start fighting again. He knocks him down again and hits him with like 15 punches and elbows, and he still doesn't. I thought Ed Herman owed that guy money or something. Like, what the fuck did this guy? What did Ed Herman do to this guy? And only Ed Herman could have pulled that off because that guy's so damn tough.
I saw you over. You were over by Jeff there, sitting Jeff Mullen. Did he say anything like, how can the referee call something like that, or did you ask that question? How can that be called when he so clearly did not see what happened? How can he then make a determination that it is a low blow when he didn't see it? Just because the fighter reacts, it doesn't,
I could not agree with you more. I'm telling you, man, nobody has ever fucked up more than Mazzagatti, and that was a Mazzagatti moment right there for that guy. It was one of the worst things I've ever seen. It was over. The fight was finished. That's like him being knocked out and fucking, let's give him time to wake up and he can fight again. Literally what it was like. And then as soon as he stood up, his whole side of his body was as red could be.
Is Mike's arm injured? Because it was really way back there.
It wasn't. That was what I was really worried about. This kid gets robbed like that, and he's got a broken arm. He doesn't have a broken arm. He's okay, which is awesome.
Dan, I just wanted to get your thoughts on Kevin Kroom coming in, winning a fight, and straight away. Is that making the most of an opportunity?
That's exactly right. It's exactly right. Without risk, there's no reward. I mean, that kid came in, huge underdog. Obviously, if you look at the books, not supposed to win. 4-1 underdog, the biggest underdog on the card. 1 day's notice, different weight class. The list goes on and on of things that you could probably check off on why he was supposed to lose. But that's the beautiful thing about this sport. You never know who's going to win or lose in this sport. And that kid took a risk, and the reward is massive for him. He ends up winning winning the bonus of the night and wins the fight. And I always tell these kids, man, make everybody talk about you on Sunday. And let me tell you what, everybody's talking about this whole card tonight.
Does it say something about mental toughness? If you've been trying to get to the top for 13 years or whatever it is, and then still having the desire to even get there, does that say something about you mentally?
100%. But it's all about, you can want to get somewhere as bad as you want to. What are you going to do when you get there? That's what you do when you get there.
Just one other thing. Have you guys started speaking to Michael Chandler yet? Has there been any movement on that at all? Or have there,
We've talked to Chandler, yeah.
Does it look promising, or?
Yeah, I like him. I like the kid. So, we'll see.
If you brought him in, what level do you put him at? Tony Ferguson in Fight Island, maybe? Or what?
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, we'd have to see timing and see what's available. And, it's more than just, is he going to fight, the number 1 or number 2 or number 3 guy? That's all about timing.
Thanks, Dana.
Thank you. Shmuel.
Hey, good to see you, Dana.
You too.
Want to get your thoughts on Billy Quarantillo. He's now 3-0 since getting the contract from Contender Series. What's your thoughts on him cracking in against a top 15 fighter?
Well, there's another one. How good was that fight? You know what I mean? He took some shots in that first round. It's always fascinating to see when somebody is on the receiving end of an ass whooping in the first round, getting hit with big shots and whatever. They go back to their corner, they make some adjustments and come back out and look like it. And then when you look at those two, the size difference between those two, and it didn't mean shit in the second round. So, yeah, awesome. I literally, you guys, I will go around the room and you can ask me about all these different kids. Tonight was incredible, man. The whole card was incredible. And I love when a main event really delivers. And that main event delivered tonight.
Earlier today, the Schmo talked to Impa Kansaganai. He wants to be on the next week's fight card or in Fight Island. Have you talked to him about being on next week's fight card?
No, I haven't, but it doesn't mean that the matchmakers haven't. They might have. I don't know. Listen, I'm loving this whole kids who want to turn around thing. It's fun. I love it. So if he wants to and the guys can get him in, we'll do it. Especially now with this COVID nightmare and all this other shit that's going on. Fights fall off left and right, so I'm sure we're going to need it.
After the next 5 weeks at Fight Island, is it safe to say that the UFC is going to finish up the 2020 calendar year here in Las Vegas?
Yeah.
And then lastly, who scores more touchdowns tomorrow, throws more touchdowns tomorrow, Cam Newton or Tom Brady?
That's a great question. I have no idea. I haven't even thought about it that way. But, yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for football season. Good to see college football on TV today and start to feel a little normal again.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Hey, Dana.
Hi.
So Jalen Turner looked really good tonight against Brock Weaver, but Brock is on now a 3-fight losing streak, and he's looked different in each of his losses. What do you think is next for Brock in UFC?
I don't know. Usually when you go on a 3-fight skid and you're not a really big name that's been around for a while, it's usually not good. But we'll see.
And finally, it's about 10 years ago, going back when you said that the women would not get a contract in UFC. And tonight you have Michelle Watterson, and she's headlined 3 times, as well as you've got Amanda Nunes and a few other women who have been at the top of the ticket. And then you have Angela Hill, who became the first African-American woman to headline a ticket. What do you think about when you look back at kind of where you started and where you are now, and how kind of naturally the promotion has evolved into these moments?
Yeah, and back then I went to a women's fight. I've told the story a million times, but it was up in Northern California somewhere at some small show. It was one of the worst things I'd ever seen. One girl was really good and one girl was not really good, and it was a one-sided, ass whooping, and I didn't like it. So that kind of turned me off to it. And now if you look at where we are today, and the main event that happened tonight, and I was saying earlier, man, my phone was blowing up like it was a pay-per-view. Celebrities hitting me up, all these people I haven't talked to in a long time, all going crazy how badass that fight was. That fight, technical, both women showing incredible toughness, both women having the desire to win, not stop. You could tell they were both exhausted. They were both beat up from the fight. And once they knew there was a minute left of the fight. They'd fought their ass off for 4 minutes of the 5th round. And then once they knew there was a minute, no hugging, no holding, no bullshit trying to squeak out a win. Those two fought their asses off tonight. There was no loser in the main event, and they should both be extremely proud of themselves. And I could keep going. I could keep going telling you how wonderful the main event was.
Actually, I would just one more. So Conor McGregor is back in the news again. And know that he's retired, and you don't spend a lot of time talking about retired fighters, but this is Conor. How much do you worry about your fighters who retire kind of with a little bit more left in the gas tank?
What's the end of the question?
How much do you worry about your fighters who at least say on paper that they're retired, but they have a little bit more in the gas tank, meaning that they could come back and fight again, that perhaps they can get themselves into circumstances where they can get into a whole bunch of trouble?
Listen, whether you're retired or not retired, you can get yourself into trouble. I don't know enough about the Conor situation. I don't know about it. I know what you've read. I've read the same things. Conor is retired. I haven't talked to him. I'm sure he doesn't need my help or advice, but if he did, he can call. I don't really know how to answer that question. Listen, Cejudo's got a lot in the gas tank too. He could definitely fight again. But I think when you have a guy like Conor and Cejudo that have done it for a long time and cut weight, dieting, all the bullshit you go through, and then you make a lot of money, you just don't feel like doing it anymore. You know? A lot of people don't think Conor's really done. He's just whatever. I don't know the answer to that question either. But we'll see.
John Jones has been in town. Have you guys had a meeting? Or is he just here for the PI?
No, I haven't.
Just to ask you about Conor, though, we obviously nobody knows really what happened. But what do you think of the fact that he puts himself in those situations to have these allegations, even if he didn't do anything? There's a lot of celebrities out there that are going to nightclubs that are doing things that aren't having this happen, and he's getting accused and accused and accused.
Let me tell you this. So one time when Conor blew up and Conor was massive, he showed up one time at the venue with so much security. I was like, this is fucking ridiculous. Nobody needs this much security. This kid's going to blow all his money just on security. Then me and Lorenzo met up with him one night. And holy shit, it's just you just don't understand how big this kid is till you go out with him. He was literally getting mobbed. Like, people were going crazy, screaming, jumping up from blackjack tables, leaving their money there and running after Conor. And it was some crazy shit. I'd never seen anything like that. And you guys have to realize that things, imagine what it's like with him in Europe. There were like old people freaking out when he would walk by. It wasn't just like young people. Old people were freaking out too. And I don't know, that kind of a life, crazy shit happens when you're in that type of lifestyle. And you try to go out and you try to act normal and you try to be normal, and it's hard to do sometimes. I'm not defending Conor in any way, shape, or form. I don't know enough about the situation to talk about it at all. But I do know I've gone out with him publicly before, and it is batshit nuts.
Well, you get batshit nuts, right?
Not even close.
But
when I walk around, it's fucking not even close. Not even in the same universe. Close. No, not even close.
Any update on the Cody Garbrandt possible?
No. On Fight Island, that's all I'm thinking about. That's all I know about right now.
And about that, is there a chance that Volkanovski can still make for the rest of this year? I don't know, maybe to add it.
He could, yeah.
I saw Calvin Kattar is calling Max Holloway for a fight, and even for the Ultimate Fighter. Would you see that? Like to see that, or
didn't you ask me this on Tuesday?
No, about
or Saturday, last Saturday. I got this question from somebody last Saturday. I still don't know. Okay.
On a solemn note, earlier today it was announced that Navid Afkari, the Iranian wrestler, was executed, who you petitioned the government to stay his execution. How shocked were you about that?
Unfortunately, not very. I called the president and I told him about it, and he said, the first thing he said to me was, there's already sanctions against them, and there's just no recourse. He said, let me see what I can do, and he started talking to his people. Obviously, everybody saw the tweet that he put out, and I know he did some stuff behind the scenes to try to help, but I know there was a lot of publicity. I know the New York Times, Fox, tons of people in the Middle East and throughout Europe wrote stories about it. And I know some other people too, powerful people, that tried to help. And, at no point during this process did it look good.
Did you see Bobby Green's reaction after he won his fight? He was pretty upset that he had learned about it right before.
Yeah, I did. yeah, it's you know, it's a sad thing. You know, I tried to help. I tried, you know. When you look at something like that, first of all, there's only one way to try to help somebody like that. That's the president of the United States or the government, you know. And I tried.
What do you think this situation kind of illustrates when we have a country that's heavily divided on some issues right now, and you have people protesting the government and the police, and it's that same government, those same police that protect their right to protest, you know, and then you have a theocracy on the other side of the world that you can't do that kind of stuff.
Yeah. I mean, you know, that was what a lot of people were saying after I posted the video. You know, he knew he wasn't allowed to protest, but he did anyway. And, you know, much like people anywhere, of the people that are protesting now, when you strongly believe in something, you stand up for yourself. You try to stand up, and you know, this guy did it even knowing that the you know, the penalty could be death. I think as human beings, and especially this guy was a stud athlete, you know, world champion wrestler, very strong guy. I'm sure he was strong physically and mentally, and you know, he was fighting for what he believed in, and it cost him his life.
On another note of something I've noticed that seems to bring people together a little bit. It seemed like in the past when there'd be fights that would fall out and fighters would, you know, not readily take a fight because they hadn't had the time to study a specific opponent and stuff. But it seems like that doesn't happen as much anymore. It seems like fighters are coming together, and to make these fights happen when they fall out.
I'll tell you what, this is my take on it, and I talk about this with the fighters. When I've never been more proud to be a part of this sport than I am right now. When COVID hit, I knew we could do it. I knew we could do it safely. I knew I would spend the money and I would figure out how to do this thing the right way. And I was so confident that we would go and we would be first because I knew my team would. Because the people that work here at the UFC, we have the best group of people ever. I mean, and most of these people that work here, I wouldn't say that everybody is, but most of them are just as passionate about this as I am. And then the other part of the equation was the fighters. I knew, you know, what it takes to do with these guys. When you look at the Karate Hottie and Angela Hill and what they did tonight, you can think whatever the fuck you want to think. You, all the people watching on camera, you think you could do what they did tonight. You can't. You can't do what those two women did tonight. There's something inside of them, and not just them, but all the fighters, that makes them different than every other human being on earth. There's very few people that can do what they do. And they're special athletes, more special than any of the other people that play with balls or sticks or whatever the hell it is they play with. And I knew they would go. I know fighters. I know how they're built. I know how they're wired, and I knew they would go. So I knew that we would be able to pull this thing off first. I don't know if I answered your question, but
Yeah.
yeah. All right. Thanks. We good? Good night, everybody. Thank you.